Yes.
If you had to be roommates with a villain from Cartoon Network, who would you be roommates with?
Cartoon Network specifically,
Yes,
so I can't pick like
specifically.
Roger Klotz. Oh man. The Canker Sisters.
Okay. Okay. That works.
I feel like I could find a way to get along with them. Yeah.
I gotcha. I feel like you and I were just talking about Mojo Jojo before we started recording here. I think he would actually be a decent roommate. I don't feel like he would be there most of the time, right? And you just have this giant house.
Yeah, he seems neat.
Yeah.
He seems like a guy who's very organized. Like he wouldn't forget to, take out the trash or pay you for the internet bill or something.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like he'd be a little bit touchy on certain things of like, why did you move this? But like,
yes.
I think he'd be an okay roommate. Or well, let's see. I don't know. Like
I really like. So I picked not really a villain, just like some low stakes young adult antagonists.
Sure.
You picked a legit villain, and I like this option where you're seemingly not a hench of any kind. You just live there. You're not involved in any of the supervillain business whatsoever.
Hey, Mojo, man, leave me out of this, okay?
Right. Look, I want to keep my record clean. Like you called the Townsville police station ahead of time. Like, look, guys, I'm just setting forth a statement of intent. Nothing to do with me. Like, do you have a file for him, right? Can you write me down, just roommate? Like, I'm an emergency contact if he's like really hurt. But if you're trying to find him, like, don't come to me.
Yeah,
Come on.
I don't
That's
know.
not how we play this.
I don't know what he's up to these days.
Right. I don't know what my roommate does.
Our schedules don't really match up,
But that's the situation with me and my roommate. Like she's up all night, and I wake up one morning to find she's moved my clippers and there's loose hairs all over the bathroom. So I'm like, okay, she shaved her head again. And then when I finally see her like 24 hours later, she's like, I shaved my head again. I'm like, I know.
Yeah. I figured that out.
And I know now that you do this periodically every couple months.
That's funny. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 110 of the Captain's Log here at the Whatnauts. My name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined, as always, by Melissa Wilkinson.
Yes.
Melissa, how's it going?
I'm good. I just ate a new sandwich.
As opposed to an old sandwich.
It was a sandwich I had not had before.
New, I was going to say like new as in like never been invented until now.
Oh, no. I believe it is historically has existed for quite some time, but I hadn't had it before, and I hadn't even heard of the thing until like, I don't know, 6 months ago. It's a banh mi, which is a Vietnamese sandwich that has some French influence. So it's like a big, crusty French baguette and like some good mayonnaise, and then like cilantro and like kind of a nice like lightly pickled slaw of like cucumbers and carrots, and like there's like a nice good meat. I don't know, like people love them. I saw them in like some foodie YouTube video where people are like, banh mi's,
I'm looking at
hot new
pictures
sandwich
right now.
Yes,
it
it's
does
great.
not look like a sandwich for me.
Probably not.
Too many like frilly vegetables and things. But the meat looks fine.
Meat was very good at this place I went to. Yes.
Is it like a beef or a chicken or a?
You could get any of them.
Okay, yeah,
They had so many
looks
meat
like
options.
There's beef and there's chicken and there's something else and who knows what. But yeah. That looks good,
I got a chicken, and then I got crab rangoons made out of real crab for once. Treated myself.
Were the rangoons made out of real rangoons?
And no. Well, they were choosing to promote the crab part only. I presume the wonton wrapper's ordinary. I don't know how you can plus up a wonton wrapper.
I'm looking up what a rangoon is. What the heck is Crab Rangoon. But
I think Rangoon was a place.
I don't know. I'm not seeing much about it. Crab Rangoon. Let's see. Wikipedia, what they say. It's sometimes called crab puffs or crab Rangoon puffs or cheese wontons.
Yeah, there's cheese in there.
I don't know. Because that implies that there is like a chicken Rangoon or a shrimp Rangoon.
You're right. They come only in crab, real or fake.
That's weird. Food is strange.
What would you put in one?
I mean, it just looks like a dumpling thing, right? Crisp appetizers served in American Chinese and more recently Thai restaurants. Yeah, just like I'd put some like chicken in there or some I don't know. To me it that just ends up being a dumpling, like a crispy dumpling.
Yeah,
seems good to me.
It all sounds good to me. I just need crispy.
Food is good. My roommates made steaks for dinner. I cooked before them, so I had spaghetti. It was a spaghetti night. But they made steaks with the like chimichurri sauce that they made from scratch and stuff, and it smells so good in our house. It's amazing. Good stuff. Melissa, what have you been up to this week? By the way, Jack is in the chat, I believe. Is it Jack or Sam?
Is here.
It's the Marina Del Rey account. Whoever this alter ego is, I can't keep track of you guys.
That one's Jack. I went on a pastoral adventure last weekend. That was pretty nice.
With like a bunch of pastors?
No, pastoral, like pasture.
Okay, that
like
works.
The countryside.
A bunch of pastors in a pasture.
I bet that's a specialty calendar somewhere. You know, those calendars of nuns having fun. There is just like a bunch of pastors wandering around in a field.
Nuns
has binoculars.
Having fun. What? That just sounds like gals being pals. If you know what I mean.
Have you seen those? It's a calendar, and it's like a nun on a bicycle. She's laughing. It's like nuns eating ice cream cones.
No, that sounds ridiculous.
I don't know, like they're playing softball. They're real, Kyle. If you go into any mall calendar kiosk around the holidays, I hope you will still find a nuns having fun.
Nuns having fun. I'm looking it up right now. This looks ridiculous. They're like
I
playing
can't see
pool.
you. Are you looking this up?
Yeah, I'm looking it up. They're like playing pool. Let me see if I can actually show this to people. Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
Show the fun.
They're bowling.
Fun.
They're kayak or something. That's not a kayak, but it's some kind of floating device. They are having a luxurious day by the pool or the beach there. They're riding tractors. Nice.
Wow.
Ridiculous. What will people think of next, man? Oh, there's one with Whoopi Goldberg and some other nun flipping people off.
Oh, I don't remember that part from Sister Act, but I guess it was there.
That's great.
So last week, after we were recording the review show, remember I told you that my mom was going to stop by? She was coming to drop off a plastic mayonnaise lid because I got a jar of mayonnaise and then I dropped it and the lid cracked in half, so I just had saran wrap over the top of the mayonnaise jar, and my mom's like, well, I just bought some of that same mayonnaise. I'll give you my lid when I'm done. So my mom drove out here to give me a lid.
Okay.
And then she was mentioning that she wanted to go to this local park, this local like nature preserve, and see all of these sunflowers before they died out for the season. And these sunflowers have been a big deal around here this summer. This nature conservation area planted a bunch of them in different stages. So I think there have been sunflowers consistently for like the last 3 or 4 months. And this is the last crop of them. And my mom hadn't seen them yet. I'm like, that sounds nice. I feel like that's a safe thing we can go do. I can ride in your car if I sit in the back seat with a mask on. I think that's safe enough. So we did that. We picked up sandwiches. We had a picnic, and we just wandered around this park looking at sunflowers. We accidentally wore the same color scheme. It was really cute.
Sounds like a good day.
I felt like I was in a... It was good. I felt like I was in a Miyazaki movie because I'm wearing this sundress and this like straw hat, and I'm walking through this field of sunflowers with my mom, and they're so huge we have to like shove them out of our way.
Nice. Sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
Lovely afternoon.
I think it was enough like whimsy and magic to sustain me for at least several more weeks.
Good. That's good.
Yeah.
My week was kind of typical. Stayed inside. Hid myself from the world. You know, like one does.
You don't want the world to see you because you don't think that they'll understand. When everything's made to be broken, you just want them to know who you are.
Exactly.
All of that, just like you do every week.
No, this week was an interesting one for me. I've moved back to sitting here at my desk when I work, which is good because I stopped when I hurt my back like a number of months ago, and I moved into my bed, and I was like, man, this is nice. I can watch TV. And I was like, well, I'm done with Lucifer, so I should just go back in there and start getting in the habit of that. So I've been playing a lot of video games the past like 2 weeks, and this week, my PS4 controller, which I'm using on my PC to play certain video games, stopped working. Which,
oh dear,
it's not really supposed to take a PS4 controller. It needs an Xbox one because they're both Microsoft, right? So I had to use a program to kind of trick it into thinking that it was a Xbox controller, and then all of a sudden it just stopped working. I would hit buttons and it was not the right button, or just like, oh, nothing is happening when I hit this button. So I kind of got like thrown for a loop where it was like, well, I don't have anything else to do in this room. Like work is slow. Like, I can't really do this. Yeah. So I finished up watching Tron. I've been watching the latest season of Riverdale. Stuff like that. Or Tron Uprising, to be specific. We are watching that for the review show this week. And then something else I did. All right, so get this. Last week, you and I came up with Shame-Tember, right? Yeah. Shame-Tember. 2 weeks in September. We are going to knock things off of our list of shame on the review show. I will pitch you the 3 movies that I've never watched that I probably should have by now. And then the following week, you will do the exact same thing. And Melissa, I forgot that it was like that it's September now. I had no idea.
It is.
I was
when
like,
did you think it was?
September? That's like a month and a half away, right? We still got some time. Like it'll happen. And then it was like, oh, tomorrow is September. Oh man! So I made my list of shame. Like I officially sat down and was like,
yes,
what is my list of shame? And I've.
Oh, is this a full list or is it just 3 pitches?
I'm only going to give you 3 pitches, But for my own sake,
Yeah.
I made a whole list, complete
Yes.
with 40
Okay.
movies that I have not seen.
Oh my gosh. You want to hit me with some highlights?
Well, I mentioned the Godfather trilogy. Haven't seen any of those.
Same. Yes.
You also suggested Pacific Rim, since I'm such a big Gundam fan. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yes.
Let me see. Let me pull up my notes here. I don't know which ones I'm going to pitch yet, whenever that comes. But
okay, I'll act surprised.
I mean, there's 40 on here, so there's a ton. I haven't seen Titanic.
I also have not seen Titanic.
Not seen good one. I have not seen Looper.
That's another one that, like Pacific Rim, that I feel like the culture isn't, like, that's not on a cultural shame list, but for you travel, as an individual, Kyle. Right.
I haven't seen... I guess this one kind of makes sense. I haven't seen Wrath of Khan, because I haven't seen any Star Trek stuff, except, like, I think I saw... I know I've at least seen the first one, the first J.J. Abrams one. I think I saw the second, but I don't remember, and that's because I didn't like that first one, and so that second one I was just like, all right, fuck this. I don't like these.
Well, I've seen Wrath of Khan several times, and I'll tell you, you don't need to know hardly anything about Star Trek. Like, as long as you're like, yeah, Kirk, Spock, Bones. I vaguely know who these guys are.
Crime show on.
Yeah, Emily Deschanel was in this back in 1982.
Here's
She's an
another
immortal.
one I have not seen. I have not seen The Fifth Element.
That's another fun one. That's one of James's favorite movies. He's got all the different
classic
figurines
sci-fi, and I'm
for
a huge sci-fi fan. Like, you would think that that'd be one I've seen. Haven't seen ones like The Blues Brothers or The Usual Suspects. I haven't seen
Me either,
To Kill a Mockingbird. I haven't seen Citizen Kane. Stuff like that. So, but yeah, I have a whole big list here. You mentioned that your pastoral adventure felt like a Miyazaki adventure. I haven't seen My Neighbor Totoro. So that one's on there, yeah.
Totoro's good. I've seen most of his movies, but I haven't seen Nausicaa or Ponyo. I missed Ponyo somehow.
Oh.
And I think like The Wind Rises, whatever the last one is.
I haven't seen Ponyo, but I don't have that on my list because I don't feel like it's an essential one of them. But like My Neighbor Totoro, I feel like that is so much more prevalent within society that it's just like to watch that one. So there you go. That's what I did this week. So it's been a good week, I think. Overall, yeah.
Nice. This seems like a good time to check in with Melissa's Cinema Corner, parentheses, the cinema is her couch. Which I am making a new weekly tradition because this is all I do now. I've made this vow to myself that whenever I find myself with 100+ minutes of free time, I'm gonna go find a movie to fit in there. Unless I have like pressing chores to do or something, I want to fit more movies into my time. Movies specifically, not just watching stuff. Because I imagine in a future where I get to be out and about more often, my free time is going to be shorter and more modular. It's like I'll save TV shows I want to watch for then.
Yeah.
I got movie time now.
Yeah.
Let's spend it on movies.
It looks like
this weekend
you
I
watched 5 of them. Did you end up watching one a day? Is that kind of how it worked out?
Not one every day, but yeah, I have watched all 5 of these in the week since we last talked. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I don't do too bad for myself. 5 movies a week, pretty good. I watched the romantic comedy Something's Gotta Give. which is, I don't know, just an adult romantic comedy I remember being around when I was a preteen.
I know the name.
And yeah, same. This is what I'm doing. Like, I want to look at movies whose names I remember from my young adulthood.
Like, You've Got Mail.
I want to watch the movies that had... Yes. I also have like a big romantic comedy dearth that I have to explore. I don't know that genre as well as I would like to. So that's something I'm working on. So I watched Something's Gotta Give. I also watched this because the houses are beautiful. It's set in this like Hamptons beach house. It's just like a vacation for 2 hours.
Good stuff.
A great time. This has Keanu Reeves in it.
His birthday was this week.
He's an actor whose career I also don't feel...
His birthday was this week.
Huh? How heckin' old is he?
Didn't pay enough attention.
He could be any age.
Figure it out.
Is it... I'm going to place bets on 49. Tell me where I land.
Old is Keanu Reeves? You said 49. That is incorrect. He is in fact older.
52? How much older?
56.
56? No, he's not.
Dr. Google says he was born September 2nd, 1964.
I refuse to believe. I refuse to believe that Keanu Reeves is only 10 years younger than my dad. I don't think that's real.
Yeah.
Because
there you go.
I have not seen much of his career. I've never seen any of the Matrices. Mm-hmm. That's one of my shame listings. Other assorted movies been in. Constantine. I don't know anything about Constantine. I haven't seen the John Wicks yet. I really want to, but it's something I've been saving for. I'll watch all those with my dad sometime. My dad likes those. Or we'll watch them on the review show, and we just haven't hit that yet.
Sure, yeah.
So I haven't seen him since the last time I watched Bill and Ted, which is when I was in high school. And I wasn't super tuned into hunks when I was in high school. Like, I feel like my hunk-ometer didn't like really hit its stride until like the last couple years. I think now is the time in my life when I'm the most attuned to hunks.
Okay.
He's such a babe in Something's Gotta Give. He's so handsome it hurts to look at him.
Good stuff though. Good stuff.
And he's pursuing Diane Keaton in that movie, who is, I believe, herself supposed to be like 56 in the story. And that gave me a lot of hope.
Cougar swag, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be 30,
cougar swag.
Which is no 56, but being 30 makes me feel like a withered crone. And to see like somebody as angelic as Keanu Reeves look at this older woman like, I want to take you out for wine. I'm like, that could be me. I can attain that, sure.
You can take me for wine?
Me, wine! Wine, me! I watched that. Jack and I watched Logan Lucky, which is a very good time.
How was that?
It's really good. I think you'd dig it because crime.
Sure. And that's the one with Daniel Craig and Star Wars man and that. Yeah.
Yeah, him, Adam Driver,
right?
Channing Tatum, yeah. And then like they play these two brothers, Adam Driver and Channing Tatum. They play these brothers who are down on their luck and they blame it on this family curse. And I'm like, this is just adult crime story Holes. This is Holes, but it's a heist movie, basically.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I dug it a lot. I did watch Suicide Squad.
Oh, man, Melissa.
Okay, so I watched this on Sunday night after I got home from traipsing through a bunch of sunflower fields, and I was really tired. And I just sort of glazed over. Like, I had no strong feelings about it at all.
To be honest, you didn't miss anything.
I felt like I didn't, but not in a mean-spirited way. I wasn't sitting there like, this is terrible. Not that I would be for anything anyhow. I'm just like, I'm kind of bored. The movie gets dreary for a long patch of time. It's kind of colorful at the beginning when they're introducing all the characters, and then it just gets like a gray, dreary action movie for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, but then like when the characters are on screen, like each one has their own kind of like color that they're trying to make pop, and it just feels like walking inside of Hot Topic.
Which I would be glad to do, honestly. I've actually never walked into a Hot Topic and had a bad time.
But I mean, yeah, like there's nothing wrong with Hot Topic, but well, that's I guess debatable. But still, like by itself, for the most part, there's nothing wrong with Hot Topic, right? But that's not really what Suicide Squad is.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I'm really picky with Suicide Squad because I don't feel like most people know what to do with it, and I think it's very tricky to find a good story for them, because the whole idea is like, yeah, let's take criminals and we'll send them on missions that the heroes wouldn't do. But in its initial, or I guess not the initial conception, but in the series of the comics that really heightened it and made it like, this is what the Suicide Squad is, they were doing missions that were good, but it was still stuff that the heroes wouldn't do. So like, okay, what does that entail? It's like, well, sometimes you may have to murder someone to, go do, and it's like, Superman wouldn't murder someone for the greater good. Batman wouldn't do that, So they're they're sneaking in and toppling governments. They're sneaking in and like killing like certain specific people, stuff like that. That is the kind of mission that I feel like suits that squad the best. But then, like in the movie where there's like, oh man, it's like a world-ending threat, and it's like. And so you're telling me Superman didn't show up to save the world? The Wonder Woman, nowhere to be found.
Yeah, she can handle that.
No, it's like that's not how you do Suicide Squad. But we'll see.
We're on our way up. James Gunn has got us.
That his one does look good. It looks fun. Like that's the thing. Like I want them to break outside. Like, I want them to prove me wrong. That there is something else outside of that, like, you need to go in and sneak in and kill this one specific person or topple this government without anyone knowing you're there, you know? Like, I want the bombastic, fun kind of, like, Guardians of the Galaxy vibe. But with these, like, that's what I want. But I just...
Okay.
I haven't seen it yet. So.
Okay. We're going to get there.
We'll get there.
You be patient.
We'll get there.
Yeah. Have you ever eaten so many nachos that you couldn't understand a film?
How many nachos is too many nachos? That's what I want to know.
A normal amount of nachos.
That's not too many then. That's normal.
I feel like it did me wrong, though. So one night this week, I went to Qdoba. I got a bunch of nachos. I came home, and it was like kind of a rainy day. It was gray outside. It was foggy. It was super moody. And when the weather gets like that, I always want to watch a spy movie, specifically. Sure. So I put on Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. And I didn't understand any of it. I liked it, but I couldn't tell you what happened. It's good. It's good. But I was so...
Go ahead.
I think I was so full of nachos that I got sleepy and my brain couldn't pay attention to anything but like 70s set dressing and character actors I liked. It's like, oh boy, Mark Strong's here. And I didn't think about like what Mark Strong was doing. I'm just like, oh boy, look at him. Tommy Jones is around.
The only thing I know about that movie is, it's one you need to pay attention to.
Yeah, I'd have to watch it again.
That's all I know.
Yeah. I dug it, though. It's just like a cool mood piece to live in for 2 hours.
Yeah. Jack
Yeah.
says I couldn't follow that movie, and I don't think I was under the influence of anything, food or drink. You are not alone. So Melissa, you are validated.
And I feel like that is a vibe about the movie I have heard before, that people are like, it's good, but you have to pay like hawkish attention or you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
I will also tell you, there's no tailor in it. Like, nobody ever gets fitted for a suit. These are like code names they have, and I had always taken it as literal. This is our cast. We have a spy, of course we do. We have a soldier, yes, that makes sense. We have a guy who invents things, and then somebody who sews clothes. I'm like, weird cast, but okay. Anybody can get involved in an espionage. Sure, show them to me.
I mean, you never know.
Right? No, I was kind of disappointed. Nobody's.
It's like, you guys need suits, right? Suits?
Right, nobody's wearing the inside-out suit that's covered in, like, stick pins and chalk marks. And then finally, my roommate was off work last night, and as I mentioned earlier, we, like, never see each other. We're on opposite schedules. So I asked her if she wanted to watch a movie, any movie she wanted, and she picked the Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland.
Ah, okay. I remember that. I went to go see that in theaters when it came out.
Did you opt for the 3D?
I did not.
It seems like that's what the movie was mostly there for, to be a 3D vehicle.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the 3D stuff. I still think it's a little bit too gimmicky. It's not there yet.
Yeah. It's fun on an animated movie.
Sure.
I saw... What did I see? It might have been Big Hero 6 that I got to see in 3D because at that time Jams was working for his community college radio station, which equated him to being press, and he would get press passes for things, for movies, and like he couldn't go to that one, so I like took the tickets and went for him. Just like, yeah, Wilkinson's here to see the movie. I'm absolutely pressed. Let me in. And like that was in 3D. And that looked good. And like the 2D style short that aired before it looked amazing in 3D.
Amazing.
That's what it's good for. Anyway, we watched Alice in Wonderland, and I also wouldn't call this a good movie, but it's filled with more character actors I like, and that goes a long way with me. If you just put like, if I can just hear Timothy Spall, I'm really placated for several hours.
I
Michael Sheen's in it.
I don't remember him in there, but I do remember that it was more of just like a visual spectacle. Just like, look at this world, this wacky world that we created.
I kept looking down at my phone, and every time I looked up from my phone, she'd be wearing a different dress, and I don't know how it happened. She's also small most of the time. Yeah. You remember Alice in Wonderland, like the cartoon. She gets small, she gets big. She's mostly small and big. I think while she's in Wonderland, she might spend like 15 total minutes being normal girl size. So that was unnerving.
Interesting.
I think it's generally an unnerving time with a couple interesting character actors in it. Crispin Glover. I haven't seen him since Back to the Future. And again, I was younger, and I'm like, oh, that's just like a dad. And I'm looking at him now, and I'm like, you have an interesting face. Like, it's like in that like middle area between like, I don't know if you're handsome or if you're just like a compelling, structured, chiseled, expressive character actor.
Like, funny. That's funny.
Yeah. Oh, so that was 5 films.
Yeah, well, speaking of movies and stuff like that, you put on here that there's a new trailer for No Time to Die. Some more James Bond news.
There is.
Talk to me about this.
We get some new stuff in this trailer. We see more of Rami Malek's character. I think his name is Safin. A little bit more of Lashana Lynch.
Like Sefin or Seven. I don't know.
Something along one of those sounds.
Yeah. Wasn't a big fan of his accent. I will say that.
We only really clearly hear him say like one sentence. So the jury's out.
And I mean, that's the thing. He is also being a Bond villain, which they're kind of over the top anyways, right? So it's just like it fits.
Yeah. Yeah, your face is weird. You're wearing a mask.
So I watched this trailer. I don't know if I liked the trailer. It felt very lackluster to me. Like, all it was just a bunch of explosions and gun firing and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, like, sure, it's gonna have a lot of action. That was kind of it. And then there was like the one line in there that stood out to me was like, if we don't do this, nobody will. Or something like that. And I was
it's
like,
better than that, but
I was just like, this is so generic.
I guess it is. I don't think the trailer has anything new to offer the art of the movie trailer. I was just excited to see my friends.
Yeah.
It's like, here's M, here's Q.
It's something to like
Penny.
Throw out there and be like, hey, remember this movie that was supposed to be out like 3 months ago? It's still here. It's coming.
Still on the slate for November. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Trying to do my part to make sure I can go see it safely. I don't know what other new things I can do. Anybody...
I completely forgot it was September this month. I mentioned that to you earlier on. I had no idea that Tenet came out this week. I just didn't know. Not at all. And it slipped by me, and then someone in one of the Discord channels that I'm in was like, just got back home from seeing Tenet. Oh boy, that was a lot. And I was just like, that came out? Wow, okay. To like no fanfare. Like there
was some fanfare. Warner Brothers released like a newer trailer with a couple extra scenes, and like it is out in theaters where a theater is open. But they released it at the same time as all that DC fandom stuff, so it might have got kind of swallowed up by all of that.
That would make sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I still don't want to set foot near a theater yet. But I am excited to eventually watch that one day.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, and with Christopher Nolan's passion for it being seen on the big screen, I imagine this is something, well, I hope it would get like a re-release weekend, sometime next year.
Sure
next Labor Day. I'm back out for Tenet.
Hoping that somewhere around Black Friday, this will be available like for home video on demand.
Yeah.
Something like that. Because I still want to watch that. I would have loved to do a reactor core. I guess we still can. I mean, there's no reason we can't really do it late, but I don't know.
We don't have to be on the cutting edge of anything. It's dangerous out there.
Came out this week too on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I think that's out today.
That's there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still just like, movies are open now? That seems strange.
I have seen some people, I've seen cars outside of my local theaters. I haven't heard from anybody actually personally saying, I went to the movies. So I don't know if it's like open to the public. These might be press screenings for all I know. There's just like 20 cars out in the parking lot.
The one that my friend went to in the Discord, she only went because she knew that the theater she was going to blocked off the seats on all four sides of you.
Well, that's good.
So she was like, yeah, like that felt like it was adequate enough, and she had her mask on and stuff like that too. So, it was fine. But yeah, man. Go to the movies though. Like I miss it.
I miss it the most.
Yeah.
I have so many dreams about being at a movie theater. This is all I'm longing for nowadays.
Speaking of missing stuff, I've been thinking about this the past like 2 weeks especially, I
Uh-huh.
really miss watching Venture Brothers.
Ah, good to hear.
It's a good show, and I've just been thinking about it recently. Like, man, when's the new season coming out? Like, I want more of it. Like, I need, yeah. Like, it ended up being like a very comfortable, like, I like
Yeah.
this show. It's good. It's funny. There's action. There's some stupidity, right?
Right. And it's so dense. Like, there's a lot there for you to think about.
If you want to, but you can also just like
Yeah.
set it on in the back, go around, and
Right.
then just have it be just this dumb thing that happens, you know?
Right. Yeah,
So
yeah.
good.
Yeah. It's been like a real comfort for me during these times. Like, I still, it's still there on Hulu.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'll like watch another episode before I go to bed. Still think about it a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it's something to do, I'm not thinking about existential dread about the death of the universe if I'm thinking about Billy Quizboy.
Man, good stuff. Yeah,
Mhm.
I've been watching Riverdale, like I mentioned, and then still slowly but surely working on some Gundam shows. I've kind of slowed down, but hopefully going to be picking that back up again soon. But I'm
Nice.
now watching Zeta Gundam. Great, good one.
Mhm. Okay.
Stuff like that. Let's see. Oh, Melissa, I have a question for you.
Ooh, yeah.
When you die,
Okay.
if you had to take your organs and embed them in some kind of landmark, where would you put them? Like, would like if your heart, right? Like, if you had to bury your heart somewhere, would it be inside a statue of something? Would it be in someone else's house? Would it be in a museum? Would it be in instead of like a Hollywood Walk of Fame, you just have like a "Here lies Melissa's heart" thing in like some significant place?
Oh man, where would a good place where's a good place for a heart to be? Like, if you heard about a heart being there, you'd be like, wow, radical. A heart is there. Maybe
I feel
like
like all right. So if I was famous or an
okay.
important person, I feel like having a statue commissioned and having my heart put inside that statue would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I feel like I would maybe much rather have like a specific location, like if I had a location that was important to me, like this is my home, or this is just like my favorite spot, or like my favorite cafe or something. I sat here every single day and had my coffee or something, right? Then like tear up the sidewalk, put my heart there, get a special thing to be like, my heart is here.
Oh, I'd put mine in like a traffic median.
Okay.
Just like those patches of grass in between one lane and another.
Adopt a highway style, being like, this is my highway.
Right?
My heart's here.
Yeah. This section of Lindbergh is mine. My heart is here.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, that seems like it's weird. It's not a place people really walk on, so it's not super morbid. It's just literally a passing curiosity.
Yeah.
And then I imagine my spirit would have like cars to look at, billboards.
There you go. Yeah. Some interesting people coming and going and stuff like that, right?
Have I told you about my desire to be a skeleton?
Melissa, I hate to inform you, but we all are skeletons on the inside.
I know I am. I haven't forgotten. I think about it every day. But my desire to...
You're not special. We're all skeletons.
Nobody's not a skeleton. I don't even think there's like an X-Men who's not a skeleton. Except for Senator Kelly in like the half hour before he died.
Right,
when his
yeah.
bones turned to water.
Jello Man.
I want to return to being pure skeleton, 100% skeleton, no accessories. I'd like to be a skeleton,
I mean,
and
you
I
did
would like
eat
to be
a
used.
sandwich whose name is literally bone me. So
a bond me.
right, that's what I said.
Maybe this restaurant will have a bone me for Halloween as a promotion. Yes. I want to be a skeleton. I'd like to be in films. I'd like to be a prop skeleton, but like I come with a certificate of authenticity, or like I'll film a video before I die. Like, sup, I'm Melissa. Hi, these are my bones. Please enjoy them for your feature film. I want to be in the credits. Please put me in the credits. Melissa Wilkinson is skeleton. Have fun with me. Like,
video, I'm probably dead, but you can have my bones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, have fun with me. Take silly pictures with me. Put a hat on me. Like, I'm a party. I want to be a party skeleton. That's what I want to be.
Weekend
put me
at
in like a medical college.
Weekend
put me
at
in the medical
Melissa's.
school of a party college. Like, I want pre-meds to like use me as a beer bong somehow.
It's weekend at Melissa's instead of weekend at Bernie's. It's weekend at Melissa's.
Every weekend, skeleton party weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
You heard of vampire weekend? Welcome to the next level. Welcome to skeleton weekend.
Exactly. So, for over a century, Melissa, locals in a Belgian city believed that the heart of their first mayor was hidden within a public fountain. Melissa, they tore down, or they somehow were doing construction on the fountain. They found his heart in this statue. They had no idea if it was actually true or not. It was just like a local myth. Like, oh, they say that the heart of the first mayor, he's buried right there in that fountain. It turned out to be true. I saw this and I was like, this is ridiculous. Kind of wild.
I love it. I'm so happy that I would construe this as positive news. I think this is fun.
It's an interesting news bit. Right?
Yeah, I think the people, I think this mayor would dig having his heart being in a fountain. It seems like a nice place to be. I think the people to learn that weird old urban legend is true, and it's like a fun urban legend, not one like there's a hook on the door, or there's not a hook hand on the door. You didn't buy a prom dress from a thrift store and then it was taken off a corpse and the embalming fluid has poisoned you.
Yeah.
There's not a razor blade and a candy. There was just a heart in a fountain that the guy probably agreed to be there.
Yeah, no, so
nice.
This is an article from CNN by Rob Picheta, and he writes, the heart of Pierre David, the first mayor of Viviers, was discovered locked in a small casket within the fountain in August, city officials have said. David ran Viviers from 1798 until his death in 1839. In the 1880s, officials decided to move his heart from the town hall, where it had been kept, and instead placed it in a box within a fountain in the city's center. And apparently they were doing renovations on this thing and found it, and everyone was like, I thought this was just a myth. I thought this was just a legend, but here it is. Here's his heart. Right here. Kind of funny.
This made me think about the obelisk in Newtown.
Yeah.
That unmarked obelisk I've told you about.
Yeah. In sex cult city.
Look, it may be sex, either may be a cult, but I believe those to be separate. Looking at this obelisk,
right?
Right. It is both mysterious and phallic. Right. So it does serve several purposes. And it's big enough that a body could be in there, like a whole one.
Would you want to have, besides your skeleton, would you want your remains to be in a giant obelisk?
Oh, all the rest of me that's not bones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like
an obelisk.
a pyramid, or a like some kind of shrine built to Melissa.
Shrine. If I was gonna have a shrine, I think I'd want it to have a swing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Tire
like
swing?
Porch,
Porch
wooden
swing.
bench
Good.
swing.
Okay.
Classic. Wholesome.
I want to be buried inside of one of the Gundam statues in Japan. There was like
Now, is this one of the
gigantic ones?
Are you gonna have a whole one of them just for yourself?
Why not? I ain't sharing it.
Yeah, and like your consciousness is your consciousness is going to be uploaded to the grid, so who cares about your body?
Yeah, exactly. My body will somehow be like incorporated in the Gundanium alloy, while my consciousness runs the AI in the Gundam.
Oh my god! You're going to be a living robot.
Great.
How good for you.
Great.
I love living robots.
Indeed. Let's see. We have some more movie news to talk about this week. First up, the first thing I wanted to mention was both Batman and The Rock have COVID-19, or has had. So news came out this week that The Batman, the new movie, has halted production because someone tested positive for COVID-19. And it turns out that it was the Batman himself. Robert Pattinson has COVID-19. Of course,
Poor Bobby baby.
Yeah, all of the jokes came out, and they're like, "Oh, Batman, your mask doesn't cover your mouth." Like,
yeah,
you. That's not how you wear a mask, Batman. Come on. But then I guess also this week news came out that The Rock and a number of his family members had COVID-19, and they just announced it. Like, hey, we're all good now. Like, we're past it. But both of those, I was like, oh man, like I like it's kind of what you get for filming a movie, but like The Rock, no, come on, man.
I mean, it happened to Idris Elba. It happened to Tom Hanks.
Yeah, that was another one of like, oh, Tom Hanks, no, not him.
He was one of the early ones, but I feel like his recovery gave us hope.
Yeah, I do want to circle back and say that Sam is now in the chat.
Sam.
And Sam says, if I had a shrine, I'd want an effigy made of clean straw, and it shall be placed in that one town in Pennsylvania with the mine that's constantly burning the natural
Centralia.
Centralia. There you go.
Whew.
That sounds like a magical place. Welcome to Centralia.
After Sam's dad died, he was cremated, and they put his ashes in Pabst bottles.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Good stuff.
It's yeah, you can just look at him, and it's like there's Dad in his favorite beverage, the way he wants to be remembered.
Yeah, that's fun.
It is fun.
I like that. Good stuff. Well, yeah. So hopefully they can get the whole COVID-19 thing figured out for the Batman, and they can finish up production with that.
For all of us, yeah.
Yeah, indeed. But we do have some more superhero news. I think it was last week we got to talk all about the like DC Comics news and stuff like that. But we got some Marvel stuff this week. They were like, hey, don't forget about us. And they announced some things. So apparently Sony has a suite of Marvel television shows that they are working on. Don't know what network they'll be on, or if they'll be on Netflix or something like that, or on Disney, or who knows. But the first one that they said, like the main one that they are working on, is Silk. Which Melissa, I don't know how familiar you are with Silk.
I have heard the name, and then I read the little article, and it's got her civilian name in it, and I'm like, yeah, I think I've also heard that.
Cindy Moon, yeah.
So that's the extent. I typically know what you look like and what your name is.
So,
and maybe what city you live in, and that's as much as I know about many comic characters who have not made it to screen yet.
On an old episode of the Whatnauts podcast, Paul and I covered a Guardians of the Galaxy comic. I think it was right before the first movie was coming out, or like right after it, I think. But we read some Guardians of the Galaxy comics, and it was like you didn't need to know continuity stuff, but there was this one character that showed up in particular that I was like, look, the continuity behind all of this is wild. Let me explain. And so I like in short, there was an event where a bunch of like secrets within the Marvel universe got out. Basically, like Nick Fury was being controlled by this thing, and like all of these like extra like secrets got out.
Kyle, you're gonna have to tell me what this thing is.
Nick Fury knows a lot of stuff.
He does.
Uatu the Watcher is murdered, and he has seen all of these important things.
I think I've heard this.
Yeah.
God,
why? I haven't said the name of the book because I'm blanking on the name of the book. It's Original Sin is the name of the book.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that title. Like, I saw covers for that around comic book stores.
Yeah. And so, yeah, a bunch of these, like, never before known secrets about the Marvel universe get out when like I think it's Nick Fury who whispers in Thor's ear, but he whispers something to Thor, and that's immediately Thor becomes unworthy and can no longer pick up the hammer. That's when you get the whole Jane Foster Thor story line, and they're like, who is this mysterious woman that is picking up Thor's hammer? But for Spider-Man, so what they did is they did like a whole bunch of these different characters all had these like secrets revealed and stuff. And for Spider-Man, the whole thing was someone else was bit by that same spider, and it was I think like either like another girl from another school that was also there at the science museum, that after he got bit and like shook it off, they never killed the spider, so it went and bit someone else. And she ended up being locked away in this like vault and wasn't experimented on, but was like monitored to be like, okay, what are the effects of all of this stuff? And she, like, Peter Parker is eventually like told like, hey, so someone else got bit, you need to go find her. And so he breaks her out. And yeah, she has these like spider powers and stuff, but she's like not socialized at all. And one of her powers is that I guess because they were bit by the same spider or something, there's something with their pheromones that they are like extra horny around one another and stuff like that. It's kind of crazy, but she's gone on to like be her own character. She now has her own book and stuff like that. But she's also Korean American and stuff like that. So I know a number of people that are like Korean American representation, yay, good stuff like that. But I'm excited to see this because it's also under the Lord and Miller production house that did Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. They aren't the ones writing it, but this is what they're working on. So yeah, I'm wondering if they're being like, hey, I think we are kind of starting to get a handle on some of this stuff. What if we try out Silk?
Yeah,
I'm excited for that one, but
yeah, I'd be interested to see. I don't know any of these other spiders.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I've heard their names. I don't know any. I know very few personal details about them. The original Sam Raimi interpretation of the Peter Parker storyline. We've talked about like what a foundational story that is to me.
Sure.
And I would like to see other spider stories and how they take some of those same principles and how they work with them and how their stories are different. And is anybody quite as miserable as Peter is? Are they miserable in different ways? Yeah. Show me.
It might still be a little long for us to do, but ideally one of these days on our monthly series, I would love for us to cover Ultimate Spider-Man, because that one ran for quite a while. So it might take us a long time to do that one, but that's the one that eventually Miles Morales comes out of. So we could like get up to that story and stop there something. But that would be a good one to check out. That's like a more modern day retelling, and then it kind of eventually goes its own way, and it focuses when he's in high school, so he's not in college or on his own yet. But then there's different twists, like Aunt May is younger and has some more spunk to her and stuff like that. So good stuff. Sam says, my only input is that people are still scared Spider-Verse 2 is going to be bad because the Voltron Legendary Defender executive producers are on board. I can see the concern, I guess, from the Voltron fan base. I don't see any reason for it to be bad, especially if Lord and Yeller are still writing it, because they'll be the ones who are doing most of the work. I don't actually know what a producer does per se.
Yeah.
I in the back of my mind, I've always thought that they just put up money, be like, hey, we'll help finance this. You can come to us for advice. Maybe we'll have some story input that, like, hey, you have to have this character in there. But I don't know exactly what they do.
General stylistic influence, I guess. They're the people you go bounce ideas off of.
I guess.
I guess it differs from producer to producer, creative team to creative team, and the input of a particular producer depends on how many producers there are.
Yeah.
Just what the creative working relationship is. I don't know if there's like a one model we can point to as being typical.
Yeah. You never know. But that's the thing. They've struck gold with Spider-Verse. And I think that team is on to something, because most other Spider-Man stuff to date, except for the recent ones that were in the MCU, hasn't been the best, or has had like glaring issues of like, well, he's a good Spider-Man, but he's not a good Peter Parker. He's a good Peter Parker, but he's not a good Spider-Man. Or it's like, okay, this is more of like a golden age interpretation, but really, this guy's a little bit like, yeah, like they get one thing right, but then they don't get something else right, and it's just like, come on. But then Into the Spider-Verse was like, they're nailing this, all of this.
Yeah,
this is great. So that was good.
And I think living in the time that I live in, I've learned that nothing is ever the last version of a thing, which I take to be a hopeful statement. Like, I spend a lot of time thinking, what if the best Spider-Man is one we haven't met yet? What if, like, centuries from now, we'll look back at the best Spider-Man and it's one that comes out in, like, 2063?
Right, yeah. Like, I was actually thinking about this yesterday of like, I'm almost 30 years old. Like, I've seen them go from that Sam Raimi interpretation of Spider-Man to Into the Spider-Verse to the Tom Holland version. We've got the entire MCU. I'm only 30 years old. Imagine what we'll have by time I'm 60. Like,
right. There have been 6 live action actors playing Batman in my lifetime, and there will be 6 more.
Right? Like,
it's okay if you don't like one. The one you are gonna like is out there.
Hopefully, yeah. Man, I'm excited. I know Sony has also announced a number of Spider-related movies, and then they just kind of disappeared. So I'm wondering if these TV shows are like a reimagining of some of the things that they were trying to do. Because I know they were trying to make a Black Cat movie.
Oh yeah.
I know they were trying to make a Silver Sable movie, and then they were like, "What if we mixed those 2 movies?" And then again, they're just like, "Maybe what if we didn't do that movie?" And it was like, "Okay, that sounds good." But yeah, like it seems like they had a lot of plans, and then things didn't go as well as they had hoped. Venom seems to have done well for them, but I know like story-wise, people they were just like, it's completely forgettable. But people went to go see it. It made money, so I don't know.
I recommend. You have not seen Venom yet, right? Yes,
nope,
still
haven't
not. Seen it. Venom is worth watching.
Not on my list of shame, though.
Yeah, it's not a shame title. For Tom Hardy's performance, I think it is absolutely worth the price of admission.
Okay.
Just to watch what he is doing.
He always does some interesting / weird things. He's an interesting actor. That's for sure.
He's in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Yeah?
He's neither of those 4 code names. He's like another guy. He goes to Russia. I didn't get anybody's name.
Now you know how I feel.
Well, I didn't need him because I'm like, oh, look at all these. There's like scenes where there's only like one actor I don't recognize, and I'm like, oh, I'm proud of me. Look at how many faces I learn and retain as I age. You know who's in it? That first captain that dies in The Terror. That guy.
Okay.
All kinds of folks.
See, like my memory is strange because when it's something I'm really, really into, and I know that I'm into, like all of a sudden I'll remember everything.
Yeah.
And like I can tell you more history about Gundam stuff and the UC timeline and the 1 year war within the Gundam universe than I know like actual history of stuff. I know more about comics than I do real life.
Like, I can tell you, I can recap specific episodes of the X-Files that aired in 1995.
Right? Yeah.
But I always forget that I have to renew my license plates.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Last bit of movie news that I had to share and I thought was interesting. Apparently, The Eternals, one of Marvel's next MCU movies, is gonna have a Bollywood dance number.
I thought people already knew this.
I had no idea.
I heard this a couple months ago.
This is news to me, and I started seeing articles out. Maybe this is an old article. Let me see. I just found it.
I have also seen articles about this recently, and I'm like, I don't know why we're talking about this again. Like, we already saw it in like February. I swear I've already seen this. And there's like a picture of Kumail Nanjiani on set because the Eternal he plays, I believe the character's name is Kinga.
Great name.
Is it Kingo?
I have no idea.
Let me click on the article instead of looking at you, expecting you to tell me. But anyway,
Yes.
his character
Kingo.
is like, his modern civilian identity is that he is a Bollywood movie star. And like as part of the movie, like I think that some other characters go to visit him on a set.
That's great.
Probably to recruit him for superhero business. And he's like, yeah, I'm in the middle of filming a scene and there's a big Bollywood dance scene, which is very exciting.
I guess no one picked up on this because, this thing was posted September 3rd. And being like, in a new report from the Hollywood Reporter, has brought some of her childhood roots to the movie. They're talking about the manga influences that this will have in there.
I hope there's a lot of wafting cherry blossoms in the air.
I don't know what to expect from this film anymore. Like I'm excited to see this because this seems like it's gonna be an interesting movie.
Yeah, it's gonna bring us like whole new different mythology and style. A lot of characters we've never seen before. That's such an exciting feeling to go. Such an exciting specific feeling to go see a new MCU movie and you're like, I'm gonna get to meet somebody new, especially when it's a character that you know is like a jumpstart point. It's like, oh, I remember that. That's the first time I get to see the new Spider-Man. It's the first time I get to see Black Panther, and these guys are going to be my friends for a while, like meeting new friends in this universe.
Yeah.
It's a very special, specific, good feeling.
Yeah. So Jack in the chat says, maybe we'll see a Spider-Man where Tom Holland is old enough to play Uncle Ben one day, which reminds me of the Uncharted movie.
Oh yeah,
which is based off of a video game. See, this is me. I never remember people's names. Who is the
main character?
No, because Tom Holland is now playing the main character. Who is the I think we found a Transformer. What's his name?
Mark
Wahlberg. Yes.
Okay.
He
His
was
famous line.
He was originally slated to play the main character of that movie. He was originally cast as Jarek.
Okay.
And that movie has been in production hell for so long that he is now playing a character named Sully, who is this older character and has he has like a graying mustache and he's smoking a cigar. He's like the older, like 60-year-old guy in there.
Well, that's good for him to still have the goodwill to stick with stick with the property and find a different role for him that's appropriate at the time.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, we could see something like that to have him play like an Uncle Ben type character.
Yeah, it might not be too long before we get Toby to do it. God.
I mean, hey, with Into the Spider-Verse being as good as it has been, I don't put it past them now to like have them jump into the Sam Raimi verse. How wild would that be? That'd be kind of fascinating.
I love that this is happening. Things like Spider-Verse or things like the upcoming Flashpoint movie where we're going to get the Ben Affleck Batman and the Michael Keaton Batman at least together. We'll see if they add other bats to the team. Is Danny DeVito supposed to be in that movie as the Penguin? Did I also hear that?
Not that I know of.
I don't remember if that's legitimate news or if somebody just threw that in as like, and wouldn't it be great if Danny DeVito was there too? I don't know if this is a legitimate fact. But anyhow, this would seem so corny, but I feel like superhero movies are the one place you can do this because it is the same role being played over and over again by all these different people coming from a culture where all realities are one and like you do have these alternate universes and things cross over. when you have the opportunity to take it, I say take it. Like, corniness be damned. It's such an excellent, rare, special treat, you know?
Yeah, it's good because I think as some of this stuff is also gaining popularity or has gained popularity, I think people are really starting to realize there is a time and place for all kinds of superhero stuff. Like, you can have the like dark, gritty takes, and that's fine, and then you can have the complete like bananas Batman Brave and the Bold cartoon where it's just like, this is all just like nonsense, this is stupid and it's so dumb, or like the like Adam West Batman stuff where it was the same thing, where it's like, this is totally meant to be a joke. Like,
yeah, I think
so funny.
We've seen enough as a culture, and I know people make fun of how superhero movies never end. They're constantly getting rebooted, but I think this is giving us a great lesson
till they read the comics.
Well, I think it's giving us a great lesson in patience. Like, people, I suppose, when like, you know, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin came out, they're like, this has ruined Batman. Nobody's ever going to take Batman seriously again.
Yeah.
No, they do. Like, give it some time and it'll happen. Like, I think we've learned that nothing can be ruined.
Yeah.
Like, somebody like, and we're developing enough faith that it's not like, oh, one Green Lantern movie didn't work. You know, we don't believe now that no Green Lantern movie can ever work.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we're seeing that like a comeback is possible. It has happened. We've seen it happen enough times, and we don't need to worry about these things so much anymore. And we don't need to like have a grudge against the Batman we didn't like, because he just becomes like another thread in this tapestry.
One thing that I'm really interested in seeing is so I mean, we get it in movies all the time where we get different interpretations of the same story. Or just like, hey, here's a modern day take, like we're remaking Total Recall or something, right? Like I kind of want to see that in comic books, right? Like, there are some important comics out there. There's some I don't think you should touch, and like the original is still fantastic, because that's the thing, right? Like, they don't have people acting in them, they don't have voice acting in them, so they're kind of timeless in that sense. But there are certain ones that I think like it'd be neat to see like newer takes on the same story, and not like, oh, like, well, we now have cell phones, so we now need to update Batman's origin story to include cell phones, and like, not that, but like, to take the exact same story set in the exact same time period and stuff like that, and just have someone else write the book and someone else do the artwork for it. Like, what is your interpretation of that story specifically?
Yeah, and like, we've had sequels, like Frank Miller came back and wrote The Dark Knight Returns, something like that. Well, stories like that
again, yeah. I don't know.
He never left. Dark Knight still here. We're gonna reboot a story in general. Here's this character. We're gonna tell their origin story again. But yeah, I think that's a good idea to do like very specific graphic novels or arcs. Like, what's if we could write God Loves Man Kills again, how is it different this time?
Yeah, or not even like, how is it different, but just like, I like this writer and I like this other guy's artwork. Just do it again, but you guys this time, right? Like, if you want to change up the script to make it maybe a little bit more modern, or maybe a little bit more conversational or stuff like that, maybe you can do that. If there's a certain scene that you want to flesh out a bit, maybe you can flesh out a bit, but just like, this is the story. Like, don't change the story per se, but then like, a new artist on that will have a wildly different interpretation, because they'll find something that's fascinating about a character that, you know, might not get as much of a focus in certain panels and stuff, and it might have them in there. And it's like, I kind of want to see that. I think that'd be interesting. So, fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
Comics are a good medium.
Yeah.
They're a good middle
like
ground between reading a book and like watching a movie, right?
I like that we have a medium that is so idiosyncratic and unique unto itself. Like, I think it offers us a lot. It's a good place to be at. Like, I think a lot about how I think a lot of my media sensibilities come from being into theater. Like, I'm very forgiving about stuff, like a reboot or a remake or a sequel or whatever, because you come from theater where it's like we've got the new musicals come out all the time, but also we're still doing Music Man. We're still doing Sound of Music. And we've all accepted that this is what we are going to do. We are going to stage these over and over and over again. And sometimes we're going to stylize them completely differently, put them in different contexts. And other times it's like, no, it's just classic Sound of Music. Just enjoy these really great new performances. And everybody's on board with these.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
this is why things reboots and sequels and stuff like don't bother me so much. It just feels like, no, theater already does that and it works okay over there. In comic books, everything starts over, everything loops, everything's being revisited. Like, we've got these two worlds where the art form is treated as something kind of very mutable, but also permanent. It's like, it's just going to loop. It's going to loop forever.
Yep. Yeah.
There's always going to be Harold Hill. There's always going to be Bruce Wayne. We've decided this is what the world is now. We're always going to have them.
Yeah. They're always new, but they're always the same.
Right. And like I was saying earlier, if you don't like this one, you'll find one you will love. Give it a couple years and it will be there. And then you'll look back as an elder person, you look at all of your Batman the same way somebody might look back and say, oh, well, here's all these different actors I saw play King Lear. Here's all the takes I saw on King Lear. It's not like one guy did it once and we're like, well, we're never going to top that. And you can't touch King Lear anymore.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, let's do a little bit of housekeeping, Melissa, and then let's get out of here. If you guys did not know, we have multiple podcasts here at the Whatnauts. You guys can find out more information on our website, thewhatnauts.com, or your favorite podcasting platform of choice. Just type in the Whatnauts and all of our shows will pop up right there. Let's see. If you guys like what we do, patreon.com/thewhatnauts is where you can support us for as little as $1 a month. We have a whole bunch of exclusive content at our $3 tier. I officially want to start planning our Jackbox Party Pack
let's do
game
it
night thing this week. So yeah, be on the lookout for that stuff. That I think now that I have the computer to make it work and all of that stuff, I think we can finally do that and get that up there at the $3 tier.
Yeah.
And a big shout out to our Patreon supporters at the $5 tier. So thank you, Sam, who has been in the chat with us and has given us a sad robot face saying, I don't want to wait that long. In regards to seeing new Batman or new stuff like that, or like a new Voltron cartoon, something.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Have faith, Sam.
Yeah. We're never gonna get tired of big robots and teamwork.
I'm sure not.
Oh.
But I think that about wraps us up for housekeeping and for the podcast. So, Melissa, where can the people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Wilkywit. That's WILKYWIT.
And you guys can find me at YoKyleSpringer on Twitter and Instagram. If you guys want to stay up to date with our show, we are at The Whatnauts on Twitter. I do kind of have a little bit of an update before we go here. Camera update. So as you guys might know, Melissa can't actually see me. She's staring into the void right now. It's just a black screen.
Yes.
Black and deep and dark like my soul. And I have been saving up to buy a camera. I have bought the camera. The camera is here. I have it. I don't have the correct lens that I need. I don't also have the attachments and stuff I need to make it work with my computer yet. So it's still gonna be some time before I have all of the stuff that I need. But I am researching lenses. I think I know about the one I need to get and stuff like that. So I think this next week I'm gonna be purchasing that, starting to get all of that stuff. Hopefully, fingers crossed, by the end of this month, at the latest, hopefully, I will have my new camera set up, and Melissa can finally see me once again, and then you guys will see me in like a better quality camera video thing. So
yeah,
good stuff.
Exciting.
But that's it. Let's get out of here. I think we're also sitting at 85 subscribers on YouTube, so go subscribe to our YouTube channel. And with that, let's get out of here. We will see you guys next week. This has been episode 110 of The Captain's Law. Until next time, bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for checking out our podcast. We hope you enjoyed that one. If you guys had to have your remains hidden or buried in some kind of object or local fountain, what would your remains be in? That's a weird thing to put down in the comments, but you know what? Do it anyways. That'll be fun. And in the meantime, go subscribe to our channel, which is right up here in this corner. That one up there. And then go watch one of our other videos, which is right down here in this corner. That would help us out a ton. Go subscribe, like I said, would help us out a bunch. Until next time, bye-bye.